Everybody, welcome to week six. Week six, we're almost at the end, which is very exciting. I know that can be nerve-wracking for some of you as well. Now, if you have any questions, if ever you have a question or a concern, reach out to me, okay? You can email me, many of you have. You can contact me through the Ask Your Instructor discussion board, and you can also call or text me, 585-433-5871. Look, I want to help you out. If you're concerned, reach out, please. You got to start this conversation, so reach out. Now, we were talking a lot last week about Excel. We are going to touch upon Excel a little bit more in one of the assignments this week. It's a fun one. It's not too hard. It has to do with charts and graphs, and it's pretty cool, actually. It's pretty easy as well, so no concerns there. But we're going to be turning, when it comes to conversation on the discussion board and when it comes to lectures, we're going to be turning from Excel into another subject which is very, very interesting and a lot of fun, frankly, to talk about, and that is internet browsers. So what are internet browsers? Well, internet browsers are those things that kind of you click on and it becomes your doorway to the internet, right? Kind of like the wardrobe in Narnia or something like that. No, not at all. It's something far more kind of real world and not nearly as magical as that, even though it may seem that way. So we're going to talk about browsers, and I have some more things to say, and I'll probably do another video just about browsers and kind of how they work and how they're different. But in order to understand what browsers are, we first have to have an understanding of what the internet is. So the lecture does talk about this a little bit, but not much. So I want to go into a little bit more depth here in just 2 or 3 minutes to kind of give you a good foundation, a good understanding of what the internet is. So the internet is that magical place where we all go, and it's out there in the ether, and somehow you have to log in, and boom, you get to see really lovely gifs of kittens and people, tripping and falling, and no, nothing like that. Okay. There's a difference between the internet and then what we call the web, right? The World Wide Web and the internet. What is the internet? Well, the internet's been around for a very, very long time, as you will learn. This is something that came out of the Department of Defense way back during the Cold War. This is in the 50s and 60s. And the desire was to have computers that could still speak to each other if the greatest of calamities took place, if there was a nuclear war. So it was this desire to network different mainframe computers, and these are the computers that are not like on our phone or anything, but took up entire wings of buildings essentially. And so they wanted to be able to have them communicate. So through a lot of experimentation, they were able to start sending messages through these networks to different mainframes, to different computers all over the country. It was successful. So that was the birth of the internet, and that grew and grew and grew. So what we have with the internet is right there in the word itself. These are interconnected networks. So you have a network, you're on a network right now, whether you're at home or you're at the public library or you're at your local Starbucks or at your church or something, you all have some sort of network, probably a local area network, a LAN. If you're at home, you probably have a router and a modem. The modem brings it through and the router kind of makes it kind of go in the sky, right? No, not really. But that is the internet. So it's your network now connecting to mine, connecting to the schools, connecting to this one and that one, and Google's over here and Facebook's over there. It's millions and millions and millions and millions of interconnected networks, internet. So the internet is really just kind of the hardware and the software that allows the World Wide Web to work. So that hardware and software is computers, it's routers, it's modems, it's routing stations, it's these giant cell towers, it's satellites, it's tens of thousands of miles of cable all over the world. You don't know this probably, but there are literally tens of thousands of miles of cable at the bottoms of oceans that are allowing the internet to work and function. So this is the cable that goes under the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. This is all the internet, okay? And on top of that, all the software that makes this kind of hardware work. So that's the internet. All right, we're using it every single day, whether you know it or not. The internet is there. This is the framework. This is the foundation. This is the hardware and software on which sits the World Wide Web. This is YouTube. This is Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, your own personal blog, Blackboard, pretty much anything you can think about when it comes to web pages, websites. That's the World Wide Web, right? And these are those magical places where you go and you can kind of look up videos and this. No, it's all code. It's all code. I hate to tell you, but that's as basic as it is. The browser is what allows us to read that code. So I'm going to tell you more about that in a video just about browsers. So keep your eyes peeled for that, because browsers pretty much, they do a lot of things, but one of the most basic things they do is they translate. So think about a translator for languages, Spanish to English or something like that. This is one of those things that if you're fluent, it's done seamlessly. You don't really even think about it. The browser is the same way. It translates this markup language, usually it's called HTML or hypertext markup language, and it's able to translate it into a kind of a media that you can understand and that you can see and you can interact with. So that's really what browsers do. Now again, I'll say more about browsers in a little bit, so just stay posted. I'll make sure that I get that up as soon as possible. So what are we going to do this week then? Well, we have a discussion board about browsers, and we're going to talk quite a bit about that. We're going to focus on the three big ones. This is Safari for those Apple users. This is Google Chrome, and this is Firefox. Are those the only three? No. There's plenty more, some that have some very interesting options and offerings that maybe if I have time, I'll talk about those. In terms of assignments, so you have a lecture, you have the discussion board, then you're going to have this short Excel assignment where you're going to be working on two different kinds of charts, a pie chart and a column chart. And then there's going to be a reflection. The reflection is going to be on browsers and talking about what you know now, how does that change how you're going to surf the web going forward, or will it change how you surf the web going forward? So I'm going to post a lot of different things, hopefully, if I have time this week, that just kind of gives you some extra knowledge of what the internet is, and maybe different levels of the internet, and how do you surf, how do you stay safe, those kinds of things. So again, keep watching the announcements. A lot of stuff, a lot of interesting stuff is going to be coming. And if you have any questions, as always, let me know. Thanks, folks.